In our conception, the term nationalism may be seen as a degeneration of patriotism. This is the idea behind which in the last century...
A degeneration of patriotism?
Yes, I think so, because we are Italian in Europe, and in the last century, behind the idea of nationalism, in a certain sense, the horrors of fascism and Nazism were affirmed. What is the meaning of the term nationalism for you?
I see nationalism as based upon the Treaty of Westphalia. We've had a system for essentially 300 years based upon the nation state. And the nation state predicated upon citizenry and a free citizenry. And that to me is, at least as we have it today, the fundamental best way to organize the world, because it gives the individual the best chance to kind of fulfill, himself or herself as a full person within an organized pattern. And I think today, whether it's the EU versus or these states in Europe, or whether it's the Chinese in their One Belt, One Road, you have these forces that are trying to turn nation states into nothing more than administrative units, right? And then you have these other forces, these populist, nationalist, sovereignty movement that are trying to reinforce what we call the Westphalian system and put most power and most focus back into the nation state. As a right-wing populist, right now you have populism as a spectrum in the world. You have left-wing populism like Corbyn or Bernie Sanders or AOC in the United States, and you have kind of right-wing populism, which is Trump and Bannon and others, right? Bolsonaro. The difference in the two populisms is that both of them are trying to take power back to a level of the people, that the people have more participation and more involvement and engagement in the process. The difference in left-wing and right-wing populism is we believe in the deconstruction of the administrative state. The reason that we reject the term fascism is that we don't worship the state. We don't worship the state apparatus. We're for less. We believe in the nation. We believe in patriotism, in this concept of the nation as a nation state, but we don't believe in the overweening control of the state in your individual lives. Whereas the Bernie Sanders and the AOC and the Corbyns, more to the socialism, they want more state intervention, more state control, more state involvement through regulation in everybody's individual life. We believe in what's called deconstruction administrative state, which is to try to take as much of the regulation out and free kind of the entrepreneurial spirit. And that way we think citizens, free citizens in those kind of nations can get the most freedom and kind of have their own path of self-realization. That is what we think the ideal is. In that concept, the nation state is the basic unit, whether that is in Hungary, whether it's in the Philippines, whether it's in India, or the United States of America. We think that the countervailing forces, whether that is the EU, whether it is China, even in the United States where it's Washington, D.C. versus the other individual states, you have the centralizing power, right, that wants to turn everything into just an administrative unit. The EU is a perfect example. This great conflict we have that'll play out in late May is between the kind of Macron vision or the Jean Monnet vision, the original vision of a United States of Europe, right, which Macron is very articulate about what it means: further commercial integration, further capital markets integration, further budgetary integration, further now military integration.
It will become something like United States.
Exactly, where Italy is...
But you're not happy with the United States like it is?
I think that if in Europe, Hungary wants to be Hungary, and Italy wants to be Italy. Italy doesn't want to be North Carolina to France's South Carolina. And that in the vision of Macron and the vision of Jean Monnet, that's what we have, that Italy and France will become simply administrative units like they are in the States. Like I'm from the Commonwealth of Virginia. The Commonwealth of Virginia and North Carolina, there is some slight difference, but it's basically an administrative unit for a more federalist system. And that's where Macron argues is further integration of everything. Okay, including military, budgetary. The ultimate conclusion there is they're just administrative units. It is exactly what the Chinese have done in the One Belt, One Road. They're trying to take the whole
system. This means we
system.
should have only one superpower and the others should not even attempt at that?
Well, I think, by the way, it's not to say that Europe, it's not to say that, as I go around and work with the different leaders of these populist sovereignty movements, they're not saying that they don't want a They don't want a Europe, they don't want a confederation of states, but what they want is not to be administrative units. They want a healthy, robust nation state, not that in combination, right? In combination, you can have a common market, a combination, you can do a lot of things, but they want to make basic decisions and have the citizen make decisions at a basic level, whether that is in Austria, whether it's in Hungary, whether it's in Italy.